1 week after Russia invaded, the Ukrainian government is still standing thanks to the heroism of its people. But it's hard to see how they can prevail. Welcome to MOMocrats MOMochat, part of the DemCast family of podcasts. I'm Donna Schwartz Mills with Eliza Worthington of crooksandliars.com, and hopefully Carol Lee will be able to join us today.
Hopefully,
But
she's got a lot going on.
yeah,
Kind of
yeah,
busy this week.
she has had some things to take care of, so
Yes, busy, busy.
yeah,
She's fine.
all will have to make do with the 2 of us.
Yes, we'll have to try to
And
make this one work.
yeah, we had some technical difficulties
Yes,
last
no
week.
technical issues this time. We'll
Right,
try.
right, right. So,
I got something in my teeth. Oh my God, nobody told me. Ah, salad. I had salad for lunch. Sorry, people.
yeah, you gotta look at yourself in the mirror before we
Nobody told me.
do
I didn't.
this. I
I
didn't
took a
see.
shower and everything. I put makeup on. Like you would think I would have seen it, but I guess I don't like smile at myself when I put makeup on.
No, I'm busy crying when I'm putting it on.
No, yeah, my mouth
Oh,
is
I
definitely
don't look
closed.
like I used to.
I know. How do I cover the wrinkles?
Really. So,
I need spackle.
we laugh,
We
but,
laugh.
the state of the world is very serious right now and, frightening.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how long you spent watching them put out that fire at the nuclear plant last night.
Not
Um,
long because I don't I I have a limited capacity for that kind of anxiety right now. Uh it is so it's in short supply.
yeah, yeah,
The my ability to handle things like that. It's so used up watching the videos where I'm hearing the mothers screaming, um, and the the pain of the doctors that are trying to care for their pediatric oncology patients under these circumstances in the basements of hospitals that aren't equipped to, in garages, in you know places that are completely ill-equipped, unequipped to handle it. Those kinds of things are sapping my energy so much that I just don't have I don't have the spoons to sit and watch firefighters try to put out a fire at the largest nuclear power plant in Ukraine. I
in
just
Europe.
didn't.
In
I did
Europe,
not. Europe, in Europe,
the
yeah,
largest one in
let alone
Europe, let
Ukraine,
alone
Europe,
Ukraine.
yeah,
Yeah.
right. I did not have it in me. I had to go to sleep, and I had to just hope that when I woke up in the morning, the fire was out.
The fire is out, but the
Yeah.
plant is under Russian control now.
Yeah, they're, being, the operators of the plant are operating it, on at gunpoint
Yeah.
right now, which is, I mean, not the people are, they're saying that levels of radiation are normal, they're at acceptable levels.
Yes, the
Um,
fire was in a training building, and
Fire was in
so
a training building,
fortunately, we
thank
didn't have another
God,
Chernobyl, which is also in Ukraine.
which is in it's in Russian hands though, isn't it? I mean, it's in Ukraine, but
Chernobyl?
in
Yes,
yeah,
yeah, they went after Chernobyl first,
yeah, that's the first
which
place
is
they
weird.
seized, the first nuclear plant they seized. And the stress, what I heard people talking about today was just the fact, yeah, the radiation levels are normal, but just the stress of operating such a place under, you know, threat of, the guns at their heads is alarming to be, to make an understatement.
And it's alarming,
Yeah.
you know? And every time I see Zelensky or another Ukrainian begging NATO for help with the no-fly zone, and I understand why the West is refusing to
I don't.
directly engage with
Can you
Russia.
explain that to me? Because I don't honestly, I don't understand the mechanics
Because
of
the
it.
minute you have NATO planes over Ukraine in dogfights with Russian fighters, we're at war with Russia.
Okay. So
It
that's
escalates.
okay.
It's us fighting now. You know, it's one thing to do a no-fly zone over a country that isn't the second largest military in the world or doesn't have nuclear weapons. But it's another thing to engage Russia on that level.
Okay.
And so that's why they're slipping supplies to the Ukrainians. That's why all the sanctions, but they don't want to get into a hot war with Russia.
Okay. And that's what enacting a no-fly zone would do. It would essentially, it would automatically,
Right.
that's the direct result that would happen
That's the escalation. And that's the excuse Putin needs to start
once.
sending nukes. I mean, not that he needs one because, chances are if I saw what somebody say, well, he's got these weapons and he wants to use them. I mean,
Yeah,
you know,
except he's already dropping, targeting nuclear
vacuum
power
bombs.
plants,
Vacuum bombs.
vacuum bombs, cluster bombs.
Yeah.
He's already doing all these things that are, international war crimes.
Yes.
Right?
It's
Yeah,
awful.
so Putin doesn't need an excuse to he's
No, he
and he
doesn't.
doesn't need an excuse to lie about what he's doing. Like I'm not sure what's holding him back.
You know, for all these years, we thought Donald Trump was a Putin worshiper. I don't think we understood how alike they actually are. You're reading these things that Putin is saying, and it's like, where have I heard this kind of talk before? Oh, yeah.
And he's literally creating Reichstag moments. He's
Yeah.
it's
And fake news.
and
I
fake
mean,
news.
denazification. He keeps saying that he needs to denazify Ukraine. In the meantime, they bomb a Holocaust memorial,
Right.
and they have foiled 3 assassination attempts against the Jewish Ukrainian president
In a week,
in a week.
1 week.
Yeah.
I mean, the magnitude of what's going on is really hard to wrap your brain around.
And imagine being there and being in the line of fire.
These Russian kids, their kids,
Mhm.
are being lied to about
Yes.
where they're going, what they're
Yes.
doing. I've seen heartbreaking videos
Yeah.
of these kids captured by Ukrainians and being allowed, the Ukrainian people are giving them the cell phones to call their mothers and tell them that they're okay. And the mothers are crying, and the soldiers are crying, the Russian soldiers are crying, saying, I didn't they told us it was a training exercise. They told us, we don't want to be here. We don't know what we're doing. The convoy, which was started out um, from end to end as a 3 mile long convoy, is something like 40 miles long now, stretched out over 40 miles.
Still stalled, but they've
Still
made
stalled.
tremendous progress in the south of Ukraine.
Yeah.
And they're closing in on Odessa now, which would be
Mm.
Ukraine's last port city.
Yeah. If they, it's going to be hard to get things to Ukraine
Right.
if Odessa is taken. And they had footage of people in Odessa, at the beach filling sandbags, forming human chains, just passing the sandbags back and forth. And
Again, the
online.
Ukrainians are badasses.
Unbelievable, unbelievable. And it is, um, admirable and amazing, and at the same time, we here at, in our home of America, I find myself having to walk a very um, delicate line with. I appreciate the solidarity with a political group that with whom we've been at odds for a long time, but I am cognizant of their particularly Second Amendment, um, Second Amendment, like fetishists, I should
Mhm.
say, you know, um, who are eager to grab this moment and say, this is what the Second Amendment is about. This is why
We have the world's largest military. What are they talking about?
I know.
The
And this is,
Army and the Marines and the Navy and the Air Force and
no, we're, so I
all they're
need to be,
supposed to
I feel
do.
like I want to be careful. I'm sorry, I felt like this itch on my eye. I want to be really careful about the way I feel unbelievable, pride, and I'm proud of them, and I'm rooting for them. I see grandmas with long guns, and I'm learning for, and computer engineers learning for the first time how to take apart a rifle, and they're all doing it because they have to,
Yeah,
because their land is being invaded by an aggressor nation
right.
that, given manpower, and in terms of manpower, they're absurdly outnumbered and everything like that. But like, I don't want to glorify, I don't want to like glamorize it too much either. I want to,
Well, it's a
it's a
different
terrible thing.
situation.
It's a
It's a
terrible thing. They're
yeah,
badass, and I love it. And
yeah.
I hope, when you said, um, in your opening of the show, it's hard to imagine how they're still standing. The more I see of it, the less hard it is to imagine for me. The
Well,
more I feel like how I shouldn't have even doubted them.
well,
The more I feel like I was wrong in the beginning to be so certain that they were going to be defeated.
well,
Because I see possibilities now for Ukraine, but um,
well,
in this
there
fight,
is hope. There is hope, but they are
right?
still woefully outnumbered,
They are.
outpowered, outmanned, you know.
Yeah, they are. They're all those things. They're definitely all of those things. But again, they're fighting with everything they have, and this, the disarray within the Russian army, and the lack of preparedness is shocking.
Yes.
It's a surprise to everybody.
Well, and then when they analyze it and they say, well, the leader has surrounded himself with yes men and sycophants, and nobody wants to tell him bad news,
Gee,
and he
that
lives
sounds
in his
like,
own little news bubble.
yeah,
And
again, like you said,
yeah,
who does
yeah,
that sound like?
yeah.
Yeah, they really are so alike. So alike. And then we have our own senators, our own senator calling one of our own senators calling for his assassination.
Which Marjorie Taylor Greene said was unhinged. You've got Marjorie Taylor
Whoa, I
Greene
didn't know that. If Marjorie
calling
Taylor Greene, if
Graham
you lost her,
unhinged.
Lindsey Graham, it's time to put down the bottle,
Oh,
man. You have really lost the plot. And apparently he doubled down on that today.
he did. He did.
He's out of his fucking mind. He's out of his mind. I'm sorry. I keep forgetting. We're on this new platform, and I'm not supposed to
Well,
curse as much.
one F word here
No, I'm
and
sorry.
there.
I'm sorry. It's just like, anyway.
You apologized. I mean, you are talking about Lindsey Graham after all.
I know. I am. I am. But that's, just a little bit, tiny bit illegal. Not what we do.
Yeah. Yeah, I just realized I shouldn't be displaying my mugs. I'm just going to have the
Oh,
other
look,
side.
mine at least my mug does not have profanity on
No,
it.
no,
In
your
fact,
mug
my
is
mug is
perfect.
yes,
Your
thank you.
mug is perfect.
Thanks, Mom and Dad. They sent it to me. I got it today.
For those that are listening on audio, her mug says, but her emails.
Oh,
My
yes,
mug,
it's
my
that
mug
it's that
says
cool
F
little
Trump.
cartoon silhouette of Hillary
Yeah,
on her cell phone and her
yeah,
sunglasses.
yeah, yeah. So, yeah, the Republicans are in disarray.
A little bit.
You had Rick Scott issue his midterm plan, his contract with America after McConnell said, "No, no, we'll let you know what we're going to do after we're elected. Just know that we're going to be for the people." And then Rick Scott
Uh-uh.
releases a plan that raises taxes on the income, lower half of the US income spectrum.
Yeah, because
Because
we don't give
everybody
enough.
needs to have skin in the game, he says.
Okay, right.
And so now, McConnell's lashed out at him. They're openly fighting now, which
Unreal.
because of course Democrats are saying, wait a minute, the Republicans are going to raise your taxes. They lowered taxes on the rich and they're going to have you make up for it.
And here they are
And
saying,
here they are.
they're giving up the ghost. This is what we're doing.
Yep. Yep. But McConnell could be in other trouble too, because today we all learned that in Kentucky, the teacher's pension was one of the major
Yes.
investors in the
Yes.
Russian spare bank, and they
They
divested
divested. Yep.
last
Yep.
week.
And haven't we been saying for the last 4 years, what is McConnell's
Right. Because
connection to
this
Russia?
happened around the same time that was it Deripaska who had
Oleg Deripaska.
this investment in an
Yeah.
aluminum plant in Kentucky?
Yep.
Like from
Yep. There
2018.
were
That's
all
when they
kinds of skanky connections
yeah,
going on.
yeah.
All
I
kinds
want
of
to know
weird.
more about this.
Yes. Yes. So Moscow Mitch is back to being Moscow Mitch as far as I'm concerned. He does not like that nickname. He doesn't mind being whatever the crypt keeper of the Senate, or what was he called on the bills or whatever? Because he's,
He's had so
I
many.
forget what his stupid
Moscow
nickname was.
Mitch is the only one that he,
But Moscow
got
Mitch
upset about.
bothers him. He does
Yeah.
not like that one. And boy, oh boy. Yes, I just saw that this morning.
So I wanna know
Yeah,
more about
isn't it
that.
funny how all of a sudden the Russians have the GOP whoops, slip. The
Same difference.
seriously, the Republicans have had suddenly a come to Jesus moment. The
Even
Republican
Tucker
politicians,
Carlson.
if you're not Tucker Carlson, you've had a come to Jesus moment
Oh, Tucker
about
Carlson now has been making pro-Ukrainian noises, but he's
oh,
blaming
but
the
he's blaming
conflict on
Kamala
Biden.
Harris.
Right.
He's blaming Joe Biden, Kamala Harris,
Yes.
Ketanji Brown Jackson. He's
Ketanji Brown Jackson.
well, he's just turning he's pointing to another a shiny brown object.
Right.
He's pointing to every single black person he can think of to blame for his misinformation and his lies and his fealty. But yeah, anyway. Yeah, it's just astonishing to me that all of a sudden the Republicans are against Putin.
Well, it had to happen eventually. It's just that, I don't think they're really against Putin, are they?
No, they're not. What does this mean for Trump? I'm really curious.
Trump hasn't,
He's
denounced Putin.
he hasn't. He hasn't said anything. What has he said since the beginning? Has he said anything? Come out and said anything about it since he first initially said it was a savvy and genius move?
I think he's been focused on the investigations against him.
Just picture a thought bubble
He's got a lot
daydreaming.
on his mind, what there is of one.
His alleged mind. Yeah. Yeah.
So what?
Oh, Trump.
Yeah. So the January 6th committee
Yeah.
this week, they're trying to get John Eastman's memos
Yeah.
during the period leading up to January, during the Stop the Steal plan, during his, you know, big plot,
Yeah.
to throw the votes back to the states. And John Eastman is saying, no, no, that's attorney-client privilege. And so the January 6th committee filed a motion
Yeah.
proving or asserting that no, it's not attorney-client privilege
Yeah.
for many reasons.
He's not Trump's attorney, number one.
They were plotting a criminal act,
Yeah, that's number two.
and the the memos were on a university server.
Excuse me,
Right,
but her emails.
right, right. So I mean, they weren't privileged.
Yeah.
But the big takeaway in this filing was the committee's description of Trump as directing a criminal conspiracy.
Yep.
And so this is like a preview of what we're going to see when there are hearings. One would hope, well, first of all, one hopes the judge rules in their favor and they get these memos,
Right.
which they should.
Yes.
But also, one would hope that somewhere in the Department of Justice, which has been amazingly leak free,
Yeah.
that Merrick Garland has a team pursuing a case.
Yeah.
And I know that it's very opaque. We don't see anything. And I try to be an optimist, you know?
Yeah.
So I am hoping that there will be some kind of consequence, you know? Because at the very least, if he doesn't go to jail, if he is deemed the head of a criminal conspiracy, he won't be able to run again. Leaves us with DeSantis and the rest of them,
Don't get me started.
but DeSantis at least doesn't have Trump's weird, to me, inexplicable charisma with his followers. There's no DeSantis cult.
No, well, no, well, I guess not. No, I think you're right. I think there's not. But boy, is he an
Asshole?
thank you. I was trying to exhibit some kind of restraint, but
Yeah.
can we talk about him? Or are
Oh,
we still,
sure.
do you want to still talk about January 6th? Because I mean, we could keep talking about January 6th. We got Kimberly
I think
Guilfoyle.
we'll circle back to January. I think that it's
I mean,
impossible
there's a
not
lot to talk about.
to January 6th.
Yeah.
But, DeSantis this week,
I mean, I am so,
bullying high school students who were wearing masks.
I want to throat punch this man so hard. How dare he? What does he know about them and their situations? What does he know about it?
He knows nothing, but he was scoring a political point and using those kids as pawns
And
and telling them,
talk about projection. He
mhm,
calling it COVID theater.
yeah,
What he was doing, he was the one performing COVID theater.
yeah.
Like, I guarantee you, if he had said nothing about it, people wouldn't have thought anything of it. Yeah, so some kid, the whole point, CDC said, yeah, if you want to wear a mask, keep wearing a mask, but you don't have to anymore.
If the transmissions in your area are
Yes.
low, and if your hospital levels are low,
Mm-hmm.
and you have not
But
been exposed yourself, or if you aren't exhibiting symptoms, there are lots
Right.
of reasons to still
Or
wear the
if you
mask.
don't yeah, but if maybe you have an autoimmune issue
Mhm.
or you're ill or you're
Yeah.
not feeling great or whatever, or you have somebody living at home with,
Mhm.
who's being treated for cancer or something, you might have a good reason to be wearing a mask. What
Yeah.
the hell does he know about it? Nothing. And he goes up and he yells at teenagers?
Yeah.
Like those kids were 14 years old. He wasn't even, like, kidding around. He
No,
wasn't
it
even
wasn't. No.
he was angry.
Yeah. For some reason, the mask offends people on the right. I
It
want to see
is
your mouth. I want
such
to see your mouth move when you talk, you know?
it's so
I mean, for over 100 years, we've been used to doctors wearing masks, surgical masks to keep bacteria and germs out of
like, the inside of
veins
your
of the
body.
people that they are taking care of, right,
Yes.
you know? And I don't see why they find the masks so offensive. I mean, really, they're offended by them, you know?
And we're the snowflakes.
Mhm.
I don't understand it for I do understand it. I know it just doesn't make sense.
It
I
doesn't make
understand it, but it
sense
doesn't make sense.
unless
There's no
unless
logic to it whatsoever.
but there is a logic to it. It is a branding thing.
It's a
It
power play
is,
is what
"I
it
am
is.
I am team red and you are team blue, and never the twain shall meet."
I also think it's a power thing. I think it's an
Mhm.
abuse thing. I think it's a,
But they say that's what we're doing. Projection again?
probably. But like this is what abusers do.
Mhm.
They want to control everything about how you look and what you wear and what you do.
Well, that
And
brings me back to Putin when he's blaming the war in Ukraine on the Ukrainians, telling
yeah,
them they
boy.
brought it on themselves. Boy,
Yep.
didn't that sound like an abuser.
Yeah. Yeah, and that I don't know if this came to pass, but I what that he was there was a plan in the works for him to attack a Russian city and say that Ukraine was responsible.
Yeah,
Did that ever happen or
not yet.
not yet?
Not yet, but that was why the US revealed their intelligence to the world, so he couldn't do that and get away with it.
Yeah.
And have you noticed since Russia's been banned from most of our social media platforms that it's a lot nicer on Twitter?
Isn't that something? It is a lot less contentious, isn't it?
Mhm.
The surprising thing is that Facebook came to that before Twitter did.
Yeah,
Facebook banned Russian accounts before Twitter did,
yeah.
which was a surprise to me, uh, given who runs Facebook. But God give credit where it's due.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely it's a uh, much there. There's still it's still got Twitter's got its fair share of trolls and bots and
Oh, yeah,
stuff
yeah.
coming up, but
Well, they're not all from Russian addresses.
yeah. But yeah, it's
So,
it's a number of people have been remarking about how much more pleasant it is on the platforms.
yeah. It was like when Trump was let go, and all of a sudden it was like, oh,
Yes, 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 and, who was it Boebert or Green that was, removed from Twitter? Their personal accounts?
Green.
Green, so,
Robert's still there.
um well, Green is too, but that it's her official account,
Right. Right.
her business representative's account. Um, but now Marjorie Taylor Greene all of a sudden is calling for unity after uh, her and Boebert's little outburst during the State of the Union.
Well, at least they got booed by their own side for that.
Yeah, talking about Lindsey Graham
Yeah.
tells them to shut up.
Yeah. Well, you don't heckle the president while he's talking about his dead son.
Generally, it's bad form.
I mean, the heckling is bad form in the first place.
Yes, but they saw an opportunity to talk about 13 soldiers in Afghanistan, and
Mhm.
they didn't bother to listen to the context.
Right.
And
Context?
yeah, what's that? Disgusting.
Well,
Disgusting excuses for human beings.
well, they're not there to legislate.
No, they've done nothing. They've done
They've
no
raised funds.
yeah,
They've raised funds and gotten attention for themselves
yeah,
and most likely enriched themselves.
yeah. Oh yeah. So
And everybody knows their name.
ugh.
So let's talk about the State of the Union.
Yeah. That was I thought it was fabulous. I thought it was inspiring and energetic, and um he was did not he did not shy away from touting all the economic accomplishments of his administration. I'm so tired of people saying, why don't they go, or why don't the Democrats toot their own horns and all that stuff. And I feel like the Democrats I see are doing it, and I
It
was
doesn't get
really glad.
amplified.
Hmm?
It doesn't get amplified.
No,
You
of
know,
course it doesn't get
the only thing that gets covered is the inflation,
it. Right.
which, you know, is largely out of our control.
Hmm.
The supply chain things, a lot of it is COVID. You know, the war in Ukraine is I mean, you know, I hate to feed the right-wing trolls because they like to make exaggerations about the cost of gas in California. But do you know how much I paid yesterday to fill my tank?
I don't know what kind of car you have,
I
but
have a Volvo,
I'm
and
guessing you have like $5 a gallon at least.
at least it takes it takes the mid-range, not the high premium, but the
Mm,
mid-octane one. So it's not regular, it's the step up, the plus.
yep.
$5.65 a gallon.
Yeah, that's
I have
hefty.
I have never paid that much before.
Yeah,
It's
that's
hit
a lot.
$5 before,
Yeah,
I think during W's
yeah.
time.
I
But,
remember paying
um,
over $4.
yeah,
I think probably the highest I paid in here in Baltimore was in the like maybe the $4.20
but it shot up
gallon.
70 cents
Yeah,
since Russia invaded Ukraine.
yeah,
This is totally because of the events
yeah.
in
And that
Europe.
was back when I had a minivan. When
Hmm.
I had a minivan, so it was a pretty big tank, and so it was costing
Yeah,
me $70 to fill up my tank.
yeah.
So that was back
Well, I
then. That was
spent 60 for a little over 10 gallons yesterday.
yeah. It's
But
a lot of money. I
it's
can't
a lot,
minimize
you
that.
know. It's you
That's
know,
what happens when we spent 4 years with an administration that, um, enabled a dictator
yeah,
in his attempts to destroy NATO. We facilitated that process.
yeah. But back on
The State of the Union.
economics.
Yeah.
Back on economics, and one last thing on the gas. Maybe it will facilitate more people to buy electric cars. And
Yeah, and
if
and
the Biden economic policies pass, there'll be more incentives to make
yeah.
electric cars more affordable to the average car buyer. and that would make
I
a
think
difference.
time is gonna make them more affordable too, because it's just gonna take time before the, their reliability
Mhm.
statistics come in. They're just younger. They're
Yeah,
newer. It just takes
yeah.
time before people become confident that they're as reliable as a regular car, a gas-powered car. Um,
Well, Teslas are everywhere out here.
yeah, here too. But, I now knowing what I know about Elon Musk now, I don't wanna buy a Tesla.
But,
Um,
he announced, the other day that he's going to let his people vote on being part of the UAW.
really?
Now, you might recall that in Build Back Better, what there was of it, the new incentives for the cars would only be if you bought a car made by a union shop. So that
Mhm.
might be what's behind
Motivating
that.
him? Yeah.
He was not happy that he didn't get mentioned in the State of the Union.
Elon Musk wasn't happy? Poor
He was
baby.
not happy because they talked about Ford and GM and not him.
Oh, yeah, well,
When
you know what? I mean, the Ford electric cars are getting some pretty good ratings from Consumer Reports,
yeah,
some of those, and I didn't ever wanna buy a Ford,
yeah.
because
You can't find one here for under 60,000.
it's hard. It's hard to
Yeah,
find one, number 1, and I mean, buying a car right now is hard anyhow,
yes,
because, um, again, supply chain issues,
yes.
but
But back to the economy, the State of the Union.
yeah,
New job numbers released today.
fabulous.
Over 600,000 new jobs added yesterday. Unemployment is down again.
Again, and
You
they
know,
were
in
only
every
expecting
metric,
400,000, I think, was the prediction?
in every metric, aside from the inflation, the economy is has rebounded so beautifully, like unprecedented, historic rebound from what happened under COVID when everything shut
Democrats
down.
are good for the
Around the
economy.
world, not just us, around the
Yep,
world,
yep,
everything shut down. That
yep,
is the virus. That is not, you know, bad policy.
yep.
We had no other means of preventing infection at that time. There were no other tools
No,
for controlling the virus
no,
back
the
then.
world shut down. It
Right.
wasn't policy. And frankly, we should have shut down sooner and more completely than we
Yeah.
did. But, um,
Well, we would be in a completely different situation now if we had had a president who took it seriously and didn't politicize it. You know, this thing with the masks should never have taken hold. But he refused to wear a mask. And so it became a symbol.
no, all of it became a symbol. Dr. Fauci
Yes.
became a symbol.
Yeah.
All of it. Vaccines became a symbol. It shouldn't have been this difficult to get this
No.
proportion of the
In this
population to.
country? No.
How on God's green earth have vaccines become political? It's like making gravity political. How is this political? It is.
Hmm.
And it, they're of course co-opting the abortion rights movement plea, of keeping
Choice.
your legislation off my body.
Yeah.
And well, pregnancy is not contagious.
Right.
I hate to tell you, it's not. And sometimes it's forced upon you and you don't want it.
Yeah.
And and why, and plus, like, why should it's just it's so insulting for them to take that particular position from the abortion rights movement and try to apply it to they what they perceive as their right to spread a deadly disease,
Hmm.
you know and it there's some synapses there that are not firing with these people.
Well, there's no sense of shame. they'll take what they can, the rhetoric that they can. And if that rhetoric is working for us, they'll turn it around and use it themselves.
But it's not working for us. My body, my choice is not working for us. Look at the Supreme Court. Look at the way abortion rights have been curtailed.
Yeah, well,
It's
you
not
have an illegitimate
working for us.
president
No-
that
Nobody
made
thinks
three
women have the right.
illegitimate appointments to the Supreme Court.
That's what I'm saying. It
Yeah.
hasn't worked for us. This is.
And now Florida has a 15-week abortion ban that they're.
Florida has a 15-week abortion ban. And, speaking, of my body, my choice, they also have, the Don't Say Gay legislation where, they're not allowed to, I'm not sure exactly what the legislation entails, but is it that teachers can't, that it can't be discussed in elementary schools? What is
Just can't be discussed.
It just can't be discussed. Homosexuality or sexual orientation can't be discussed. You have the trans, in Texas,
Oh God.
parents of trans kids
Thank
are
goodness the
able.
ACLU is on that one.
Yeah, the ACLU is suing. But
can you
they passed
imagine?
legislation
Can
and
you
added.
imagine getting health care for your child and supporting your child? I have so many friends with trans kids
Me too.
who plummeted into deep depression and were suicidal. You can't tell me I can't get my child the help my
Right.
child needs, right?
The treatment that they need.
And to say that that's child abuse and
Yep.
to
And you're
and to
gonna
take the
you can
children
prosecute.
away from their
You can,
parents?
you can prosecute the parents for a crime and take the children away.
Yeah. Terrifying.
And these are all the same people who fly the pro-life flag
Mm-hmm.
and are also, as we discussed a little bit in our emails with each other, now are pro-death penalty.
Mm-hmm.
And we have that manifesting in the Supreme Court decision that the Boston Marathon bomber Tsarnaev can be put to death.
Mm-hmm.
And so
There's no
here
longer
comes the
a
death penalty
standard.
back.
They no longer believe that the death penalty is cruel and unusual punishment.
Yeah.
But
And I have no sympathy for
no,
Tsarnaev. I
no.
don't think he shouldn't be in jail for the rest of his life. And I'm not exactly a pro-carceral state person myself, but for certain people, and I wouldn't mind him being in a jail cell for the rest of his life, where you give him where he's got a vial of a cyanide pill if he wants to take it, but it's not the state's place to
Make him.
to kill him.
Right. But, as the saying goes, they're pro-life until the baby is born.
Yeah.
And then you're on your own.
Yeah, so these are the pro-lifers.
Yeah.
Who
yeah. Let's talk about something positive. Ketanji Brown Jackson.
Oh, yes. Yay. I was going to say, we have something positive.
We do. She looks awesome.
She's amazing. She is amazing. And she threw it all out there. She's not hiding a thing. She's like,
No.
yeah, I have cops in my family. Yeah, I have people who have been in jail in my family. Oh, come at me.
Yeah. My sister-in-law is Paul Ryan's sister, and
I got it all. Yeah. She's like, what do you got? Lay it on me."
Yeah.
And Tucker Carlson's like, "Well, we don't have your LSAT scores."
Again, that's just like where they wanted to question how Obama got into college.
Yeah.
They wanted his SAT scores. Remember
Yeah.
that? That's such BS.
Well, it's racism.
Yes,
It's
of
white
course it is.
supremacy. It's white
Of course it is.
supremacy.
They never
They're
asked.
calling her, of
They
course,
didn't
they're
ask
calling her.
for Amy Conehead Barrett's
I know,
SAT
right?
scores.
Right?
And
She's
and Ketanji Brown Jackson, her resume is reams bigger than any of the 3 justices that Trump appointed.
Yep. And she's been a judge for longer than 4 of them put together.
Mhm.
And 4 of the judges on the court right
Right,
now.
right.
And
Again,
this is
to be a
just
Black woman to rise to that level, you have to be twice as good
yes, at least
as a
twice as
white
good.
man.
Guaranteed her LSATs were off the chart.
Yeah,
Not that that is a
yeah,
measure of,
it isn't.
I don't care what she got on the bar exam. I don't care what she
Right.
got on her LSATs. I don't care what she got on her SATs. I don't care any
It's
of
what
that.
she has accomplished
Yeah.
as
Meanwhile,
an
what are
attorney
Tucker's
and a judge.
LSATs? What are Tucker's SAT scores?
Yeah. I'm sure Tucker was a legacy.
Oh yeah. What and what were, we know that, Trump paid someone to take his SATs,
Yeah.
but no problem with that. The right wing, or as Ellie Mistal calls it, the white wing, doesn't see a problem with that.
Of course not.
So
Privilege.
privilege, a little bit. Privilege, white supremacy, misogyny,
Mhm.
all rolled up into one little tuckums. So yeah, but she's fantastic, and that I know that was it Ron Johnson who put the first little roadblock in there with the blue slip, like he didn't return the blue slip
Really?
for her. I think so. I think, let me look it up. I'm pretty sure it
She's
was
not
Ron
from
Johnson.
Wisconsin.
Oh, so who was it? I'm looking it up now.
Okay. Because I thought the blue
Um,
slip was the state,
it
the
might be.
senator.
Where is she from then?
Well, she was born in Florida? I don't know.
I don't know. I'm looking it up. Sorry, people. I thought there was a blue slip issue, but I could be wrong. All right, I'm not seeing it in the news
Law
anywhere. So
360. Senator Spar over Third Circuit. No, that's not the Supreme Court one. I don't know.
no, forget it. Forget I said it. Sorry.
Okay.
Never mind.
But she's getting pushback from Republicans.
Which is crazy because she got approved already. She's already been through the process.
Well, she's already, plus they have a 6-3 majority. She's replacing Breyer. This
Yeah.
should be an easy confirmation.
Yep.
A 1-for-1.
Yep.
But you're hearing all the same buzzwords. Oh, the radical left. Biden's listening to the radical left, and it's like, what? You know,
She's not even that
she's
radical.
no, she's well within center liberal
Yep.
spectrum. What they don't like is she's a consensus builder. She can work with the other side,
Right.
and that's what they don't want to see. They
No,
like
because
the
they want that
they
solid
like the
majority.
factions being, you know,
They want that majority to stay as solid as it
mhm,
can.
yeah. I mean, imagine if there are 4 women on the court,
Hmm.
and they actually agree on something.
Not that. Not
Even the
that.
conservative one.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. But it's exciting. It's exciting.
Yeah.
She's and people are saying, she'll be the first Black Supreme Court justice.
No, she won't.
I know.
Thurgood Marshall was first.
Well, that's true, but they were talking about
I know what they're talking about, but you can't forget Thurgood Marshall.
I know. That's true.
To be the only Black Supreme Court justice. There
Yes,
you
that's
go.
what they're saying. You're right.
Yeah.
Oh well.
We're getting giddy. It's
Yes, we
been a
are.
long week, you know?
It has been.
So let's see. Oh, okay. So, we talked a little bit about January 6th, and there is a trial this week. Was a trial this week
There was, yeah.
where an oath keeper pled guilty to conspiracy, seditious conspiracy.
Yeah.
And this is one of the oath keepers that was bodyguarding Roger Stone. And the Washington Post today had a report
Yep.
on a documentary that was being shot during the lead up to January 6th and on January 6th on
Yep.
Roger Stone. And the Washington Post reporters viewed 20 hours of raw footage. And I really hope January 6th committee has seen that and the DOJ has seen that too, because indications are that Roger Stone was talking to Trump on January 6th, that he was heavily involved with it. They had footage of him in his suite at the Willard Hotel.
In Trump's suite.
No, Roger
Wait,
Stone's suite.
in right, okay.
Right,
Yep.
right. So it would be really nice to see
Demanding
Roger
pardons.
Stone get
He,
it.
he he was in there demanding pardons of
Yes,
Trump
yes,
in advance.
yeah, including Matt Gates's wingman.
Wait, what's his
Not,
name?
I forget his name, but let's see, what is his name? This is so bad.
I thought his wingman.
His name is Joel Greenberg. It's
That's it, Joel
Greenberg,
Greenberg.
not Cohen.
I was close. It's a Jewish
Yeah,
name.
yeah. We should have our Jewish podcast sometime.
We need to.
We talked about last
I
week.
know. We had
Ended
a lot of
up,
Jewish stuff last time that got eaten up by the technology
yeah,
monster, the technology goblins that were
yeah,
in our
yeah.
computers.
Anybody listening is just going to have to use your imagination,
Yes.
because that's never going to see the light of day.
No, no. Oh my God. Yes. When is Matt Gaetz gonna get his? We're all I'm
Well, they keep
all this, Ukraine
expanding.
has pushed all that stuff to the background, but at the same time, I'm really happy to see all this January 6th committee stuff happening and the trials happening and
Yeah,
all of it. It just shows and the economy numbers coming out. This is still we're able to galvanize all this support for Ukraine, which is, an incredible, really shows that Biden was the right man for the moment or is the right man for the moment to
yeah.
have this,
They can
impeccably
do that.
curated um group of foreign policy people, including Kamala Harris, um, uh, just uniting NATO and supporting Ukraine in this. And at the same time, the Justice Department is moving forward, and January 6th committee is moving forward. And I really think that they are, not intentionally working together, but I think their work is complementing one another
Yeah.
between the January 6th and the Justice Department.
Well,
And
let's hope that we see the poll numbers get better for
Well,
Democrats.
there's
Let's hope that the timing of the committee hearings can help us
help
in the
us in the
midterms.
midterms. Yeah.
It's
These
very
midterms are
scary.
critical.
Texas's election and how difficult it was for people to cast ballots is very scary.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't want to
The
see,
impact of that is immediate,
yeah,
of those laws
I
that they passed.
and I don't understand why Biden's poll numbers are so bad.
I do a little bit. I mean, I think that
Is it all inflation? Is it all the pandemic? Is it all because the virus had a mind of its own?
no. I I think this is probably an oversimplification, but I do think a lot of it has to do with the media. I really think, even the allegedly liberal media loves a drama, loves a fight, and success is not a story. And it is part of my job at Crooks and Liars to watch the press conferences
Mhm.
and the Jen Psaki press conferences, and all those reporters do is ask about the least journalistic questions you can imagine, and all they are designed to do is put Biden in a terrible light. And when I watch people like Andrea Mitchell and Chuck Todd, and
Everybody's
when
favorite.
I can't even bring myself to watch Morning Joe.
Mhm.
Um, all Even in the liberal media, all they do is downplay any kind of accomplishments. They're just never even mentioned. All they do is say, didn't Biden screw this up? Why isn't this, what? I never see them hailing these successes. And then you have people on the ultra progressive left who are super angry that he didn't go in harder about voting rights, which is understandable. People now, since the State of the Union address, are flipping their absolute shit about the fact that he said, the answer is, that he's in favor of funding the police, not defunding the police. And the next day there was the decision in the Breonna Taylor case where the cop was found not responsible
Yeah.
for, he I'm unclear on the details, but for having he didn't do anything wrong by shooting 10 bullets into the apartment.
Oh,
um and the woman was asleep in her bed. It wasn't, and it's, and here's, Biden saying fund the police. And so he's taking it from both sides. The media is really not helping. The media doesn't like a Democrat.
yeah.
The New York Times is the worst. The New York Times is the absolute worst.
They've got some
And
great journalists and some terrible op-ed decisions.
I can't even with them. I can't.
Yeah.
So I feel like, it's a chicken egg situation. If and the so the even Democratic politicians, when they're out there, are automatically on defense immediately. They as much as
Yeah.
they might even want to go and toot their horns about the accomplishments that they have. And Kamala Harris is doing this all the time. She's always talking about what great things they've done.
Yeah.
And
But then we don't see it and people go, "Where is she?"
Yeah,
Where
where
is
is
she?
she?
In
Well,
South
meanwhile, she's
Africa. Where is
actually
she?
in
She's
Central
working.
America talking to the leaders of those
Yeah,
countries, trying to
yeah,
help them as, address the things that are making, address the tragic situations that are largely in many ways of our country's making.
yeah, yeah.
Thanks, Ronald Reagan. Um,
Well,
to
now we're going way back.
Yeah, but no, but I mean, if she's talking about addressing the root cause,
Yeah,
that's what she's doing. She's in Brussels. She's
yeah.
going to Europe.
Yeah.
And who was it today that said, "Oh, Megan McCain said they should send a serious person." Megan McCain said that about Kamala Harris.
Well, I'm glad we're ending on a light note.
Yeah.
Megan McCain.
Yeah, Megan
All right,
McCain.
that's good.
She thinks, yeah.
Um, well, we are out of time.
So,
So, thank you for that.
and we didn't even get too Jewy. How did we do that?
Well, there's always next well, actually not next week, 'cause we're not gonna be on next week, so there's
Oh,
always
we're not?
2
What's
weeks
happening
from
next
now.
week? I didn't even know. Okay.
Oh, no, I'm not available next
Oh,
week, so
okay. Okay.
but that's our show for this week. Join
Okay.
us in 2 weeks at our new location, momocrats.buzzsprout.com, our YouTube channel, or find us on your favorite podcast service such as iTunes, Google, and Amazon Music. And be sure to check our Facebook page for updates. I'm Donna Schwartzmill saying goodbye for the Momocrats. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.
MOMocrats MOMochat is part of the DemCast family of podcasts.